Alrighty, I'm in the field, as you can see. I'm in the 6415 cutting some hay. Some of you had asked for some haying videos again, whatnot. I guess to me, I got, I hate to say burnt out, but I've done a lot of haying videos. It's just the same thing over and over. But anyway, I am cutting hay today. This is it's a first cut, but it's second cut I've made this season. I cut some a couple of weeks ago, and we had a bunch of rain, and some cool weather. There was one stretch in there I could have cut some, but the temperatures were just kind of barely touching 80, if getting to 80. And I'd like to see mid-80s at least for about 2 to 3 days. But anyway, hopefully y'all can hear this okay. I hope wind or air from the vent ain't messing up the audio too bad. I've got the fan on the second setting, which is kind of loud because the resistor or whatever that controls the speed burnt out on the first setting, and I have not fixed it yet. John Deere wanted like 80, 90 bucks for that little part, and I can order it offline cheaper. I just hadn't done it, and I need to look at the diagram again, but I may have to take the roof off to get to it. I was hoping it would be in here somewhere. But anywho, yeah, I took off work a little early just to try to make a valiant attempt to get a good bit of hay done this week. It's thick. This is at least 2 weeks overdue cutting. It's got a lot of clover in it, which is good. But the fescue in it and some orchard grass, the stalks are already starting to turn brown. So I'm catching that on the tail end here, but it's still good and green underneath. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't get a lot of views anymore on the channel, but that is what it is. I don't know that the 6,900 and something subscribers that I have obviously don't tune in much anymore. I only got a handful that seem to watch the progress of the square body trucks. So anyway, I got another video that's a few weeks old ready to come out on that. I'll try to get that out this week. But if you kept up with it any at all, you know by now I've pulled that 327 out, so we got something else almost ready to go in. Been working on. Just mowing. Going round and round. Be doing that for the next few hours. See how late I can stand it tonight, because I've got more to do than I think I could get mowed tonight. But I may mow some more tomorrow night. We'll see. I'll have to make a decision. This is thick enough. It really needs a tedding. I'm gonna run into a little time constraint if I do cut more hay, getting it all tedded and all for that. So anyway, yeah, just chugging along in the old 6415 here. My hood's about to crack apart. I've still never replaced the hood. They're just so expensive. My goodness. They're just really expensive. But anyway, About to hit 3,000 hours on this tractor, which is pretty low for its age. 2003. Yeah, it's the only one I'm running now, so hopefully nothing goes wrong. Kind of take a risk of not having a backup anymore, but I'm not doing enough ground now to really justify the cost of a second one. I really should buy me like a small open station tractor, something at least pull the hay rake around, maybe mow with, but ideally I'd have something that could run the baler as well as a kind of a complete backup. But I don't know, money's money and everything's expensive these days, so y'all know how that is. But anywho, that's that. Not much else to talk about or show. If you're into the square body videos, there's more coming. But anywho, the channel's not what it used to be, so it doesn't let's see, entice me to want to put the effort into doing videos much anymore, especially with everything I have going on. So it's hard to get the time to really sit down and edit videos and do them up nicely. It's easier to shoot them on the phone and just send them out kind of unedited. But anywho, well, I'll quit rambling on, but try to get this field done and some more. Get a little hay done this week. I'm kind of having to do the new customer base this year. I've been doing hay about 15 years now on my own, and some of my biggest customers were older, retired people, had either horses or cattle or whatever on the side. I had one that I've known for a couple years. He was probably going to quit eventually. He made it known last year he was probably going to wrap it up this year, so he wouldn't need hay this year for the following winter. So unless his family or someone decides to take those on, I've lost that one. I also had a racking horse breeder, or walking horse breeder, that one was a little surprised. I figured he would eventually, but he didn't really give me notice, which that's okay. So I lost him. I had another one that quit about the time I was cutting back, so he was my second largest. But that's been a couple years ago now, so that one just worked out. But now I've got hay, and I don't have customers outside of selling hay, and I haven't had to market hay for a long time. And my original start was Craigslist pretty much, and I didn't really have too much of a problem selling hay on Craigslist. Now the going things, Facebook Marketplace, and just a sign of the times, I guess. The problem I've got, that hay I cut a few weeks ago, I kind of thought I'd sell to that walking horse breeder, usually do. And he said he didn't need any, and then I was, oh, well, I got hay I gotta sell now. So I put an ad out on Marketplace. I got 2 people pretty early on that was, they were going to come get it, and they were going to come the day I bailed it, because that's the walking course guy would do that. He'd show up with a trailer, and I'd help him haul too. And we'd get most of his hay hauled in pretty much one night, maybe a couple, just depending on how things fell. But I had a whole bunch of people contact me, so I started having to put people off, because I thought, well, I've pretty much got it sold to these 2 people. So, feeling alright about that. Came day to bail it, bailed it. Was updating them as I went along. Turned out neither one of them wound up could come. Both of them didn't want it to get rained on, so I started putting hay in the shed. So I took the extra time to do that. Both of them were going to come that weekend. So, okay. But meanwhile, I'm still getting people messaging me wanting to buy hay. I'm putting them off. Turned out neither one of them showed. So I had to backtrack, try to be fair. I try to serve people in the order in which they contact me. But if you let a day or 2 lapse and then people ain't interested anymore and this, that, and the other, I wound up selling it, but it was a royal pain because I only got so much time to be here at the farm and load hay, and then got other people's schedules. Everybody's busy. Everybody's just busy, and I have to work around other people's schedule. It can be tough. But I had a guy come that got a few bales. I told him the situation. He wound up coming back and kind of buying me out. So he may get more. I don't know. I hadn't talked to him yet. But anyway, that's just kind of been I'm going to have all this hay. And I really don't have enough storage to store it and keep it dry. And just about everybody, if not everyone that contacted me, they wanted to dry. If the bales got rained on, I'm not talking about the hay. I'm talking about after it was baled. If it got rained on, they weren't interested. Didn't want it. And those of you that do hay, it's like doing square bales. If you gotta put that stuff up and store it, and you got rain coming the next day, that's another massive wad of time and effort. And if you're like me, trying to do everything on your own, don't have any help, you got one tractor, you get done baling right before dark just about, and you got to think about putting hay up. Well, that's a few more hours of effort. So it's easier for me just leave it in the field. But it seems to be we've got to this point where people, they're so picky about the hay that they ain't even gonna touch it if the bale gets rained on. Which, a few rains on a roll of hay, especially for cattle hay, it really don't. I would say the loss is very minimal. And even for horse hay, if it's tight enough, the net wrap and all, it ain't gonna sink in there very deep. So I know with the horses you gotta worry about mold in it, but and I get that. But anywho, it's just I've had a good run of a built-up customer base that was good to work with, pretty much, and I've got to try to find someone else or build that back up. which the interesting thing was how far people were coming for it. See, I sold all of it to three different people, with the one guy buying the majority of it. But Huntsville area is just exploding, and you know, some people see that as a good thing. I think it's going to be I just don't see the city being able to keep up with the growth. I think it's going to turn into a big flop, and then it's going to ruin the city. But anyway, I won't get off on that soapbox. Long story short, it's eaten up a lot of farmland around Huntsville. I mean, it's apartment complexes and subdivisions. It's a new one every day. I mean, I know that's a little exaggerated, but it really does seem like it's a new one every day. I don't see how there can be that big of a demand, especially at the current prices of things. But anyway, people coming out and get the hay, at least, all three of them, their normal producers are losing their land. You know, they're selling, I say they're losing, they're selling off to these developers and stuff, and they're losing the people they normally buy hay from. So one of them came from I'm south of Huntsville a ways, just to kind of give you a little picture, but one of them came from way north of Huntsville. And I was like, man, you came a long way. I thought, man, they can drive up into Tennessee and get hay as far as they came, but they just acted like they couldn't find hay. Like, I was one of the closest things popped up for them, and I was just like, wow. And had another one came just as far, kind of northeast of Huntsville area, Athens area. He was the one who bought the majority of it, may get more. And I'm thinking, man, that's a long way to get your hay, but if they can't get it, they can't get it. They got to do what they got to do. But I guess it's just like I said, it's a sign of the times. I don't know. I'll see how long I'm going to be able to do it. You know, I've turned some of my fields over to someone else just because of my own time constraints and stress of trying to keep up with all of it myself. So I've let a little bit of it go. But I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm at these days. Fields are too small to row crop. Deer eat them up. And about all I can do is hay or cattle. I've gotten real low on cattle right now. I've got a few head right now. So I can't decide whether to try to build that up a little bit or just keep a small herd or let that go to someone else. I don't know. It's one of those things, but I've had to move around a lot with the job situation. None of it, like I said, one of them was my choosing, but the last one wasn't. I didn't talk about that before, I think, so I just get tired of having to move around. That affects this one really hurt a little bit because it affected my time off. And, I was 2 months I went back to a company I worked for before, and had I came back 2 months earlier, they would have reinstated me at my years of service I'd worked before, and I'd have had my previous amount of time off, and now they've started me from scratch, which is a setback. I'm accruing less time off than I've had in about the last six or 7 years, so it's kind of hard to be so many weeks off a year you get to losing a week and a half of that, so it makes for a little bit of a crunch there. But there's other perks, I guess, to it that I can use to work around that. I can work a little bit of a flexible schedule, so that helps me to be able to do hay and whatnot right now. So. Anyway, it's another year, new challenges. See how it goes. But I got a guy in that last ad for hay I had. He was looking for, I think, 300 or 400 rolls wherever he could get it. It's not too far from here. I need to look him back up and see if he's still in that boat, because it would be nice to let all this go. So I'm probably gonna have a couple of 100 rolls here in these fields I'm doing now. So it would be nice to let it all go to one person. Just be easier to deal with, even if I sell it a little cheaper. But anyway, that's been another topic. It's just the price of hay. I pretty much kept my prices the same even through the inflation and fertilizer prices going through the roof, COVID and all that stuff. But I did go up a little bit this year to my new people, just because I got to do something. Nothing's getting cheaper. Shoot, that resistor I said for the air conditioner is $80-$90. I just, fuel's high, fertilizer's still high, but it's come down where it was. But I don't know, it's just my equipment. It's still all pretty good shape, but it's aging, it's wearing, Got to fix stuff, got to buy parts, it costs, so. Anyway, well, I'm going to wrap this up. I figure some of y'all that tune in more for the farm side of things might be interested in that update. I don't know. Anywho, thanks for watching. If you hadn't subscribed, click the button. It helps me out a little bit. I can eat off of it every 2 or 3 months. It's about how much I make. Oh, man. Yeah. I ain't getting rich off YouTube. I ain't one of them people, that's for sure. But anyway, if you made this far and you're a long time viewer, I appreciate it. And thanks for watching. We'll see ya.